Hey everyone, and welcome to Offstage, a 20-minute conversation with students, hobbyists, and professionals from the world of music about music with me, your host Anagh. And today I have guests Neil and Vats. Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hey Anag, all good. How are you?
Yeah,
Good,
no,
good, I'm
how's it going?
doing great. Going great. So, for the first time, we have two Octavium members with us, Octavium mentors. Yeah?
Oh, you're
Yes.
asking us? I thought your audience was going to materialize. Our audience was going to materialize from somewhere and cheer and say, yeah.
No, I was leading you guys on to say what you guys teach, but okay.
Ah,
Say it yourself. Neil and Vats, what do you guys teach at Octavium? Vats?
I teach guitar, but my role is more of a corporate music appreciation sort of specialist. So I do these workshops, and that is, I have from time to time a few students and guitar students, maybe once or twice a voice student also, but mostly the corporate thing, music appreciation.
Nice. And Neil?
Yeah, so I teach piano and drums. Most of my students are piano, and maybe six students on the drums. But I almost teach every day except Saturday. So my schedule is pretty busy now at Octavium. So it's good.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it's good. Otherwise, I don't know what I would have said.
If I have any more students, I'm pretty sure I and my students will suffer. Like
Oof.
pretty much. We've gone to that limit. So I can't take any more students at the moment.
Right. Now, both of you are part of one band, that is Rainburn. I'm sure some of our listeners would have heard of Rainburn. And even our
I'd
teaser.
be really surprised. People have heard of Rainburn at all. Wow, okay.
No,
People
I'm
don't
sure
listen to prog
some.
anymore.
We're a little self-deprecating. It's the nature of our.
I see that. But I also did put a teaser of both of you guys that you're going to be on this episode, and the teaser of What's was him playing with Rainbow, and I put that in the caption. So I
Yeah,
figured
I
they'd
saw.
pick up
Yeah,
from that.
today, tonight, I saw that.
Looking good, but
Yes.
Always.
Now talking about Rainburn, Neil plays drums for Rainburn. Vats is the frontman and the guitarist. And other than Rainburn, Neil also, I'm not sure if is still playing or was playing with these other two bands, Dog Drive Mantis and Auto Catalytica. Did I say that right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So Dog Drive Mantis, I think we probably started in 2016, I believe. It took
Right.
us 1 year to write all the songs as a band together. So
Hmm.
we have saxophone player, guitar player, bass player, and me. So the
Hmm.
four of us wrote all these songs. I think we wrote like 12 songs and we
Hmm.
recorded after a year. And I did the mixing as well for that record. So I did
Oh,
it with the
wow.
help of my friend.
Hmm.
His name is Josh. So we studied sound together, and he helped me get the studio. We started recording stuff,
Hmm.
and yeah, and I think we did both the mixing. Mostly it was me mixing, but he
Right.
also gave some ideas.
Hmm.
And we did an East Coast tour in Canada as well. So
Hmm.
we toured all the way from Toronto to Halifax, and
Hmm.
we paid for everything basically. We
Wow.
rented a van. We stayed at different places, some hotels,
Hmm.
using Airbnb. So that was the best thing. We saved so much money doing the tour, but it was totally worth it. And I think it
Hmm.
lasted for like 12 days.
Hmm.
And while I was doing the tour, there was another buddy of mine. His name is Eric Dorfenson. So we
Hmm.
studied in Boston together at Berkeley. So he
Hmm.
was my roommate as well. So he started this
Okay.
band way back, and
Hmm.
I think they also did a record. But then he wanted to do a new record. So I just called him up once because he released this teaser video, and I was like, "Hey
Hmm.
man, do you want to write music together?" And that was that. So he had a bunch of songs that he wanted to write, so he wrote all these drum charts,
Hmm.
and I had to play them basically. So it was like a more of a session gig rather than a band per se.
Right. And
Yeah,
getting on to autocatalytica,
that that is
when
the
That
that.
was.
autocad.
Oh wait, that was autocatalytica.
Yeah, with Eric Thorfinson. Yeah.
And Dog Drive Mantis.
We all wrote the music together, all the drum parts, the sax
Hmm.
parts. We decided what fit best with the music.
Right.
So yeah, but the Autocad Analytica was more of a session sort of thing. And if you listen
Okay.
to Aura Catalytica, there's a bunch of singers. I think there's 4 different singers, some guest guitar players,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah.
Hmm.
So a lot of
I've heard some of the
collaboration.
stuff. It's really cool. Uh,
Oh, thanks.
Viewers, if you're watching, they're on Spotify. You should go check them out. Both bands.
Hmm.
And what's coming on to Rainburn, which is also a band. Neil, I don't know how recently joined, but I think he was the latest member. So can you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about Rainburn, how it started, what kind of music you guys play, and general backstory?
Wow, so long ago. I wasn't even shaving then, and apparently not now also. But I'd spent a year in England just working minimum wage jobs and playing with bands up and down the country. And
Hmm.
when my visa ran out, I came back to India and formed Rainbow. And I'm the only founding member of the band still standing, which
Right.
is not a nice thing for the latest member of the band to hear. But yeah, I mean, there's been a few like people over the years, and Neil has been with us now for over a year now. It's been more than a year,
Hmm.
More than a year, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So how did you guys meet, and how did Neil end up playing for Rainburn? I want to know that story.
Oh, I didn't actually think of him at first because I mean I'd met him I think once at Octavium, right?
Hmm.
We had
Yeah,
that
it was just like a
conversation.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was a brief moment
after
basically.
a meeting. Yeah, I didn't actually think of him because I never heard him play, and he was I think teaching piano more or only
Hmm.
piano that time at
Yeah,
Octavium,
Yeah.
only
and
piano.
I just vaguely knew that he also plays drums, so I thought maybe piano is his main thing, and that
Hmm.
probably wouldn't work for us. I mean, pretty like intricate drum parts and stuff in the band
Hmm.
needed. So my main thing was anyone who's hired as a piano teacher and not as a drums teacher is probably not good at drums. So got good enough.
Neil
I was
proved otherwise.
thinking, yeah. So, but then somebody from the scene actually said, "Have you heard this guy called Neil Roy Miranda?" I said, "Yeah, I work with him."
Hmm.
And then I think I pinged Neil, and he sent some of the dog drive stuff, which was kind of a direction ish that we were starting to go in. So I was very interested.
Hmm.
And then, but we also wanted somebody who could play the heavy things. And then he sent, I think after a while, he sent the order. I think they were just coming out with the album then, Auto
Hmm.
Catalytica stuff. So I was like, okay, this is awesome. I mean, it's two very different musical faces. And
Hmm.
that, yeah, to me, Neil was like, we auditioned a bunch of people, including Neil. To me,
Hmm.
Neil was like, I was just like, I hope this guy works out. You know?
And I think
And
that so far it has been working out.
yeah, no, in the audition, I was like, okay, I mean, I'm like ready to fall in love with him in a musical manner of speaking. But then, when that happens and you suddenly discover like a, what do you call it? An O moment, I think it's called, or a deal breaker or something. Like, I hope
Yeah.
nothing like that comes up. Like, he doesn't come to rehearsal and make a mess of it or say some
You hope he
weird
didn't
shit
jinx
like
it.
when I ask him what his inspirations, I hope he doesn't say weird shit like it's like hurting animals. I get
Oh my God.
inspiration. So yeah, all that stuff. But yeah,
The kind of guy that would do that.
it worked out really well. I guess.
So I'm sure you guys have been playing your instruments for a pretty long time, right? So could you tell us like when did you start playing? What made you want to start playing those instruments, and basically what inspired you, and what has been inspiring you to still keep playing these instruments and still get better at it? Neil?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started playing piano at the age of 7. Uh,
Hmm.
Basically, there was always music playing in my house,
Hmm.
and basically, like our family members always loved music, so
Right.
they had these tapes, CDs, and we just play all day, right? So I
Hmm.
guess my mom and dad decided to just send me for piano lessons to see if I actually do something with it, right? And
Right.
then I was progressing really fast. I was like, okay, I'm really good at this. I should keep doing it, right?
Hmm.
I got really good at it. I did all the examinations as well, the grades and whatever. So basically, just classically trained in piano,
Hmm.
right? And but then I had this love for rock music,
Hmm.
right? So I started gravitating more towards drums, and I was like, okay, I want to start learning drums. So I picked up the drums at I think 13 years old, and
Hmm.
that was the end of that. Like I was like, okay, drums is my instrument. The instrument really picks you rather than you picking the instrument, right? It's like love at first
Right.
sight.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
relate to
and for
that.
my birthday, like my dad got my drum set, so
Hmm.
it was awesome, and I've never looked back ever since. I just kept going at it, and
Right. Yeah, I can relate to that 100% because I also did start with keys when I was about 8, and then after Octavium started, I started drums, and I'm like, oh my god, drums is my thing. But I
yeah, right.
unfortunately, yeah, I did continue piano for a little bit, piano slash keyboard, but yeah, I stopped eventually. But yeah, for me, drums was like my thing. Like, oh my god, this is my calling.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
I was mostly self-taught on the drums too, so I was basically listening to music, listening to records, and just picking up beats. And that time we
yeah.
didn't have the era of YouTube, so I
Oh,
had like CD player, tape, and the drums was here, and I would have to go all the way to like stop, press rewind, and restart.
right.
That whole thing. It was awesome. I actually loved practicing like that. I miss practicing like that actually. Like you would have to like manage your time and really practice, right? Because you end up
Hmm.
spending a lot of time just getting up from the seat and messing around
Right.
with it. Yeah,
I
yeah.
wish I could relate to that. I don't know what that's like, but I'm sure it must have been fun. Like you said, you miss doing
It
that.
was fun. Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about you?
That reminded me of the first time I tried to record myself. I'll come back to the origins, but
Right.
so we had these tape recorders and blank cassettes, and
Hmm.
so you'd record one thing on. So I had two of them at one point, and you'd record on one thing and then play that, and then do your other instrument part or vocals, and
Hmm.
both of them would record on the other thing. So you could go back and forth, then erase the previous one. And when I started doing that, I was like, I thought I'd actually invented something like that nobody had thought of, using just like very old tape recorders and cassette tapes to multi-track.
Hmm.
And of course, later I found out I think Les Paul invented multi-tracking, right? 40s of
Hmm.
1940s. So I was only about 50 odd years late, I guess, with the invention. But yeah, so I started pretty late compared to you guys. I think I was
Hmm.
15 when I started learning guitar for a bit. I mean, I think I could always sing okay for quite a long time. And when you had these sixth grade talent competition or something or the other, first day in
Hmm.
middle school, they'd ask
Right.
people to do something, and I'd always sing at those things, and it always went down well.
Hmm.
But the way I got into music and rock music specifically is because it's very funny. This classmate, when I was 15, classmate of mine I got a rock magazine to school, and it had all these like cool looking guys, long hair and, guitars and stuff. And I had never heard rock music until, I mean, I probably heard like Wham and or some bands like that, like Nirvana maybe here or there, but never really
Right.
registered for me. It wasn't much into music. But my main
Hmm.
thing was I want to look like that. These guys look really cool. Like,
Hmm.
the long hair and guitar looks really cool.
Yeah.
So we kind of formed a band then in school, three of us, and
Hmm.
nobody knew how to play anything.
Hmm.
Uh, no, I mean, we didn't even know what bass was. We would
Wow.
look at the back of CDs and say, "What the hell is bass? Let's go look it up." You know, ask somebody. But we formed a band anyway because all of us wanted to be those cool kids with the band in school. So
Right.
yeah, that was my thing. But I think at some point then the love for music took over these superficial sorts of beginnings. But it's something I
Hmm.
tell my students always. I get some students who want to learn guitar or whatever because they want to be popular in school or college, and I never
Hmm.
condescend to them because I don't think that's a bad. I mean, any reason to play music is a good reason as far as I'm concerned, or to start learning music is a good reason. And then it's up to me to convert that into what could be a longer term reason, love for music rather than, because the other thing is going to fade pretty fast, right? The popularity thing. You're not going to
Yeah.
progress
Yeah.
much. So, but
Yeah.
that as a teacher, then it's up to me to convert their initial spark into a long term love for music, which is how it happened with me. So, yeah, that's
Wow.
pretty much how it happened.
That's great. And speaking of like teaching and how you guys met, how did you guys end up in Octavium? I don't know that story. My dad didn't tell me, but I want to know how you guys came across Octavium, how you ended up joining the team. I'm sure our viewers also would want to know. Most of them would probably be your students, so I'm sure they would be curious to know. So let's find out. Neil?
Yeah, so uh, when I came to India, right, I was living with my parents in Mangalore for like 6 months, I think,
Hmm.
and then I would come to Bangalore quite often, right?
Right.
And I was just looking up schools, where to apply and stuff, because
Hmm.
I always loved teaching, and I've been teaching for quite a long time, right?
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, I want something. I want to work somewhere where I'm also doing music at the same time, like
Right.
learning and practicing my craft, right?
Right.
So I was asking a buddy of mine. I think you know him. His name is Akash.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so he's a schoolmate of mine back in Muscat. So, I was talking to him and I was like, hey man, like I'm looking to apply for like a position as a teacher, like for drums. And then
Hmm.
he was like, okay, why don't you look at Octavium? Because
Hmm.
I was working there, right? So I
Right.
sent my resume and everything,
Hmm.
right? But they were looking for a piano teacher. So I was like, hey man, I teach piano. So why don't
Ah,
let's do this, right? So
right.
that's how it started. Yeah.
So
That
that's
was
how he
my
joined as a piano mentor. People thought that was his main
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
instrument, and then suddenly we find out he's an insane drummer, and that worked out well for Vats.
Yeah, because now I teach drums because I think because Supreet left, so I took over some students and then I
Yeah.
used to.
both insane and drummer are the operative words there. I mean, he can be just a drummer and just insane also. Seen
I
spend
mean,
enough time in a band with.
well, he's not wrong. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
Nice. And Vats?
I'd been teaching in Bangalore for a few years already. I was
Hmm.
looking for a change, and my friend Kanya, her name is. I think she or her mom learned there, probably.
I think they both did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so she's just sent me this message saying Octavium's looking for a teacher, and I asked her about the place, and she said nice things. And then I knew Ryan from before because we'd done some things just through the scene. I knew Ryan, I knew Supreet,
Hmm.
quite a few people uh, who were already there because of the
Hmm.
scene. Ryan and I have actually did some Dio tribute. Like we just played once on stage, I remember.
Right.
Ronnie James Dio tribute, and it was just like all these hastily put together bands. So yeah, I was kind of happy about the people I would work with. So yeah, I
Hmm.
just applied then, and right, like I said, that time that was just before COVID, or actually a while before COVID. My main role was going to be the whole workshop
Hmm.
thing, not so
Hmm.
much mentoring, as in like the way Neil or whoever, all these people do, like teaching lessons. Mine was more going to be
Right.
corporate workshops and music appreciation and things
Right.
like that, which I'm still doing, but now it's online because of COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Uh, we are close to running out of time, and it was great to hear from you guys. I found out some stories I hadn't heard before, like how you guys joined Octavium. I'm sure some of our students, whoever are watching, I hope they enjoyed this episode. There is some stuff to take away from this, like some of the stuff was said. And if any of the viewers are not already Octavium students, for all you know, if you join piano or drums or guitar, one of these guys may end up being your mentors. And I'm sure that would be fun.
Good luck to you if that happens, but
No, I'm sure they'll have a good time. And I'm sure you will give them a good time. So, thank you guys for joining me today on this fourth episode of Offstage. And yeah, see you. See you, everyone.
thanks, Anag. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having
Yes,
us.
yes, anytime.
And Neil, I think I'll see you sometime this week.
Yeah,
Practice.
I'll see you soon, bud. All
Yeah.
right, peace.
Bye.
All right,
Take
bye.
care.